Cornel West is an anti-communist, guys. Do you guys understand that anti-communism led to death of millions? Millions of who? Millions of black and brown people in the global south. That is who Dr. Cornel West endorsed. Dr. Cornel West is weak on white supremacy, and he's upset because we're calling him out on it. Ronald Reagan was a freedom fighter in terms of supporting our Jewish brothers and sisters in the Soviet Union and opposing vicious forms of communism. This is anti-communist trash, the ideology that led to the death of millions and destroyed the global working class that many countries are just now recovering from.
Yes. That ours may not recover from.
Not speaking truth to power. He does not speak truth to power, because if you spoke truth to power, that means explain to people who Alexei Navalny is instead of praising him. You don't speak truth to power. Speaking truth to power means you tell the truth no matter if that made people uncomfortable. You are using your Christian faith, like CJ says, so you don't speak truth to power because you say, "Oh, I'm a jazz man. I don't want to be I don't want to be mean to people." So you willing to coddle Nazis and white supremacists when the position that we should have after anti-communism and white supremacy and Nazism led to the death of millions is that there should be no weakness on this at all. No wiggle room whatsoever for white supremacy. But Dr. Cornel West allows that wiggle room. Why? So he can get along with the PMC class.
I don't trust nobody.
But Ronald Reagan, the freedom fighter.
I can't trust nobody that's that old and that smart, that black, and that liberal. It just don't match, right? Because the older we get, the more radical we get. Because you know what I'm saying? We black man, we black people in this world. We got to go through these things. How can you see what we have been doing, not only to our own people, but across the world, have this knowledge and still be a black liberal in 2020? That don't make no sense to me. It really doesn't.
You see what I mean? But that's just part of the process. That don't mean she's a demon or nothing. I just got a close look and I draw my conclusion. So if you can vote for Sister Jill, I am who I am. I take my stances, and if you want to vote for me, this is what you're getting. I'm not changing who I am just in order to, or lessening my voice when it comes to moral witness, just in order to get votes. That's not who I am. Well, you don't need to be in politics. Really? Watch our campaign.
And we have watched it, and it is a fucking train wreck. So what are you talking about, Cornel West? How can you with an honest face, with an honest tone, say what your campaign is doing is at all what your constituency wants? How can you say that? How can you say being on less ballots is in any way a good thing for your constituency, for your campaign? How can you say that, Cornel West? Who's your campaign manager, Cornel West?
The Democrats.
What ballots are you going to be on?
I told you guys, never trust a leader that tell you to shut up and fall in line.
Man.
Dr. Cornel West is not working with us. He's not in community with us. He's not coming to the same conclusion with us. He's not trying to meet us halfway. He's telling us to shut up and fall in line, which is why he did an interview with literally every single person on RBN. 3 times I explained to him why Joe Biden's a fascist and why he's not the lesser two evil for Donald Trump. In fact, Sabby did the same thing as well. Every single RBN member had this conversation with them, and then he goes on other interviews and then explains how Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils. This is not someone who in community with us. This is someone who wants to fall in line. Don't trust someone who wants that. And at this point, he's upset because people are criticizing him because he thought he's going to be anointed a leader. Like, if you're going to put your hand up and volunteer yourself to be a leader, it comes with a massive amount of responsibility and grace, none in which Dr. Cornel West showed. He expected everyone to fall behind his social democrat, pro-CIA, anti-communist bullshit, pro-lesser of two evils bullshit, his pro-Nazi Navalny praising bullshit, and now when people push back on stuff that we wasn't happy, like, I could not have handled this man with more kids' gloves. Like I said on my live stream mix, I said I don't think it's anything bad about his character. Like I said, there's so many nice things we say while we critiquing your position, but his ego still can't handle it. That's why I'm done with the PMC left. I'm done with social democrats. I am done holding back on people's feelings. Like I said this year, we have held back on this guy. We have just said what we disagree with this man on whenever he gets something wrong, and we do so with grace. We never name call this man. I have been nothing but graceful towards Dr. Cornel West. He just can't handle younger, more intellectually curious people correcting him because he has no intellectual curiosity. He thought he got his doctorate degree and decided he knew it all in the 80s and 90s and stopped developing. But what other conclusion do you make when you're praising white supremacists, pro-CIA bots? You voting for Jim Crow Joe in the year 2020? This is someone who stopped progression. That's why he had no criticism of the COVID narrative, the mandates. He still view politics as 2015. He hasn't moved the fuck on. He praising Dr. Fauci. He played the fucking Dr. Fauci because he's in 2015. He hasn't advanced. We constantly reading. We constantly study. I tell you guys, I read like 8 to 10 articles a day, at least. Constantly trying to shore up my weaknesses, learning new stuff. That is the pressure that we feel as RBN. And we're not even running for office. It's because I know if I do a live stream and I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I'm going to get roasted. Yeah. And it's because of this pressure that I force myself to read, to become smarter every single day. But Dr. Cornel West, his position is fuck it. Fuck it. If you correct me, you must be against me. You must be a hater. It's deeply intellectually immature and very surprising that he has his position because I'm very humbled. I have been humbled in this space many times. I have been wrong on stuff many times, and I brush it off and I come back stronger. Dr. Cornel West gets it wrong on praising a Nazi, and he goes have a Karen meltdown in response. This is not someone who's humble. This is someone who wants to be a leader. This is someone who wants to be above you. And this is exactly why I personally said many times, I don't believe in leader movements because they always lead with egomaniacs like this guy who believe he can't be questioned. RBN is a leaderless movement. That's why we get shit done. Go ahead, let's continue.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Yeah, all right. So I'm listening still because he said some other stuff about us. Let's see.
Track of what we're gonna do. Watch when Biden's militarism and his enabling of vicious genocide begins to pull the cover over him more and more. Watch when Trump goes to jail. Watch when all these new possibilities that nobody's talking about begin to bloom and loom large. And watch. I'm doing the same thing, same consistency, same constancy, same humanistic stance, same Christian witness, and looking at the world through the lens of the least of these and the wretched of the earth, no matter what the system of oppression is. Fascism comes in a lot of different forms.
Did this nigga just say Trump going to jail?
I don't think he did.
No, I think he said, watch when Trump go to jail. He said that.
Oh, you mean he was saying examples? Yeah, he was saying like, watch when Biden does this, watch when Trump does this. Yes, he did do that.
This is liberal talking point. Let me go handle this shit.
He must believe. So he basically believes, I guess, he's saying basically the duopoly candidates are going to falter, and all of these masses of people are going to sprinkle out across all the independent candidates. The problem is, Cornel West, even if you claim to be a independent candidate, you actually have to go get on ballots. That's the problem. Texas and California alone, you know how many signatures you need? Over 500,000.
Deeply unserious.
How are you getting that done?
Deeply unserious. That's what deeply, and that's one of the main things we criticize them on, was just deeply unserious strategy. But let's continue on. Deeply unserious. Even if I didn't turn on Dr. Cornel West, I wouldn't be able to vote for him because he's not going to be in the ballot in Missouri. The fuck you, like, so stupid. Let's continue.
Jill Stein will be on the ballot.
Yep, Jill Stein's going to be on the ballot. Fucking idiot. Could have
been Cornel.
Yeah, I'm gonna run for president.
comes in a lot of different
Sorry,
forms.
but you guys remember when he explained why he didn't want to run the Green Party? He was like, "Well, I didn't want to run the Green Party because it would be hard to build a movement. They had a lot of people in the party had expectations of me." This is what he was saying. He was like, "Well, when you run in the party, like the Green Party, they have expectations of you. You got to work in the local church. You mean building a movement, motherfucker? You trying to run for president while skipping steps?"
Yes.
Like, what was it with Sabby? Who did he get an interview with? We was talking about why he didn't run Green Party, and then
it was Sabby.
Yeah, his argument was it essentially was too much work. Why do you put your hand up in the first place? Then the reason why you run for president is to build a movement. He went in an entire party to become a Dr. Cornel West, like fucking like organization that like randomly praises him, like that just spread his message. No, you're supposed to organize a party and a movement, and he decided not to run the Green Party because he didn't want to do that work. So why are you running? What is the point of this vanity campaign that you're doing? But anyway, sorry, let's continue.
See what probably happened is, what's the guy from the People's Party, the guy that everybody hates from the People's Party. So you know that guy. So he talked them into doing this. So he probably gave this whole spiel about how running wasn't really a big deal, because in the People Party, it wasn't a big deal. There wasn't a bunch of hurdles. They could just give you the freaking thing because it was really nothing. So he agreed, okay, all I have to do, I can run for president, and all I got to do is the same stuff I already do. Go on corporate media and let them praise me. Go on some independent media and let them praise me. Show up to a couple of events and let them praise me. Okay, the same life I've already been living.
Yeah, he went in a cult because his objection. Watch the interview he had with Sabby fam. Was that they wanted him to participate in the primaries, in the debates. He wanted to be anointed and wanted to be a cult leader. Dr. Joe Stein just announced that she won the Missouri Green Party nomination. You guys see how Dr. Joe Stein wanted to go through the process to build a movement? That is not what he wanted. He wanted a cult party. He saw opportunity for that. And then now that RBN didn't want to be his media arm, which he tried to turn us into, he's throwing a hissy fit on his media arm. Tim Black was like, I'm okay with being a media arm. I don't give a fuck about this. I'm a grifter. RBN, we are not willing to be a media arm for a politician. We're willing to ask tough questions for those who want power. Dr. Cornel West was like, fuck that. I want the grifter. I want the guy who want to be the media arm. You know what I mean? It's deeply unserious and very disappointing. Like the kind of charlatan this guy became. Like this is like, if you want to be a leader, many people, I said this last stream, I don't say this to brag, but many people ask me to run. Like many people ask me to run for office, and I decline because I don't think I'm ready. It's a level of responsibility, a huge responsibility that you're taking. If you want to raise your hand to be a leader of a movement, if you want people to donate to you, you want to siphon resources from the working class. That's why I keep saying no, because I'm not ready. I don't want to waste money just to lose by 30 points to Emmanuel Cleaver. You know what I mean? So you got to be ready. And if you are taking that leadership position, you got to take it with great humility. You got to be able to learn. You got to be able to hustle. You don't go on to these channels that are going to give you softball interviews so you can have these Karen meltdowns. Is this how you're going to handle world leaders? Is this how you're going to handle Chuck Schumer? In negotiation, you're going to have a bad interview with Chuck Schumer. You're going to go on Tim Black and cry about it? What kind of shit is this? But let's continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt longer, but let's continue.
And I'm against all of those different forms, but my focus is, in fact, against the U.S. empire. There's no doubt about that. I'm in the belly of this beast. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a concern for Russians, don't have a concern for Iranians, and don't have a concern for the Indonesians, don't have a concern for Uganda and so forth. No, not at all. And there I clash with so many of my leftist brothers and sisters and siblings. We have overlap, but we got different views.
Because you're a cultural
so the only thing they can see me say that and say, well, he's a...
Go ahead.
See, this is that social democrat bullshit that I was telling Dr. Cornel West about. He had nothing to say in my face about it. He's a cultural imperialist. Who are you as someone who benefits in the heart of the most violent empire of all time to tell Iran what the fuck they can do? To tell enemies of the United States, the enemies of empire, how they should engage in resisting the most violent empire when you benefit from it. You pay taxes in the most violent empire ever, but you think you can fucking demonize China and Iran? We are the biggest empire. And when you do this, what you think you're being moral or not, what you're doing is you're providing the cover for the neocons to engage in their endless wars. When you're like, yo, I think the Iranian regime is authoritarian fascist, then the CIA and the military industrial complex are okay, let's do something about it then. Like you are doing nothing but backing up their bullshit. When you do this, that's why we have to humanize our enemies, acknowledge the differences in culture that we have, and lead by example. You demonizing other countries and other cultures while you live in the largest prison state ever, a country with no health care, where Black people's life expectancy have fell over the last few decades, is moral pondering and does nothing but help elevate your status among the PMC class. Because those same people can say, well, at least Dr. Cornel West called out the Iranian regime. At least Dr. Cornel West wanted to call out China. It accomplishes nothing other than getting PMC points, which we don't care about. What you're doing is serving empire with this bullshit. But I apologize. Let's continue. Let's continue.
He's a liberal. Well, what do you mean by liberal? I'm no liberal at all.
What?
I'm committed to the dignity of human beings. And my dear brother John Mubarak will say this, liberal equivocation, brother West. No, it ain't liberal equivocation. It's moral clarity from.
So Ajamu, it sounds like, gave him the same critique that we're giving him. And he's saying, Ajamu called it liberal equivocation. He said, no. Something about morality, what she's trying to do with this Nazi person. It's about morality. Yeah, he's a Nazi. Is that what you're standing on? That he's a Nazi, but they still deserve humanity, which is fine. Don't die in prison. Gotcha. What does that have to do with saying that they're just like Mumia? It's two separate things that he's not addressing. Intentionally, he's intentionally trying to pretend like one means the other and not addressing it.
And also,
from my point of view.
Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead. We continue.
Mubarak will say this, liberal equivocation, brother West. No, it ain't liberal equivocation. It's moral clarity from my point of view.
My point.
Labels.
All these different labels.
Right.
And we just have different views.
Stuff,
you don't want to say anything critical.
You guys see, this is the anti-intellectualism I'm talking about. Look, words mean stuff. You're an anti-communist and you praise a Nazi and a white supremacist. You guys say, oh, you talking about labels. No, we are not using the labels. Navalny is a white supremacist, sir. You understand? Biden is a genocidal capitalist who you voted for. You don't have to be obsessed with labels to acknowledge the truth. You see how they're, just labels.
Yeah.
No, those labels are important. Those labels are important. See, white supremacists, all just labels. Oh, come on, you guys using labels. Jim Crow Joe's a racist, all labels. He calling the guy I'm voting for a capitalist, all just labels. You guys see this is cult. This is the excuses they use to justify their anti-intellectualism. The fact that you were the anti-communist who don't understand geopolitical affairs and why people wanted to resist the U.S. empire. This is the same guy who both sides October 7th who condemned Hamas for resisting a genocidal apartheid state. You pay taxes to Israel, sir. You pay taxes to a genocidal state. You fund and arm them with your taxes, but you think you can condemn Hamas, Dr. West? See, I'm more than happy at Dr. West on. I would love to ask some of these questions. Like, that's kind of revolutionary bullshit. It is bullshit meant to destroy the revolutionary will of the masses. If you are facing a giant empire and you are fighting against a status quo, which is illegitimate, Dr. Cornel West will tell you to shut the fuck up and die. Virtue signal, so his position will be easier. Dr. Cornel West wants his position as an intellectual to be easier, so he can say, oh, the Palestinians are dying with honor. He don't actually care about the result of the Palestinians. That's why he condemns Hamas. He's a coward. If you're in the United States empire, you're condemning the resistance of the empire you pay taxes to. You are a coward, Dr. West. You think I've been mean on you before now? Do you understand how much I've been holding back on you, you anti-communist coward? Now, let's continue.
And hold on. And this says a lot about his stance on Israel. This tells you that even if he was to win, he will still fund Israel. He will still say stupid shit like, I believe in Israel have the right to defend itself. Israel has the right to exist and bullshit like that, right? He's gonna two sides until all of them people are dead. He's gonna two-size it until everybody is fucking dead. And look, I have put out a video about cowards, how cowards get people killed too. Just because you didn't pull the trigger, don't mean you're not getting people killed. Because when you don't stand up, when we all don't stand up, we all get knocked down. So all this liberal talking point bullshit. If you don't stand up for the people of Palestine, Yemen, if you don't stand up for even the people for the people of China, then we all gonna get knocked down, Dr. West. We're all gonna get knocked the fuck down.
Critical about Russia, don't want to say anything critical about Iran, don't want to say anything critical about China, then go on about your way and be the kind of revolutionary you want. We'll overlap when we overlap, but I'm going to be concerned about political prisoners in China, in Russia, in Iran, in Uganda, wherever it is, and especially
why are they political prisoners? Why is a big question, bro? Why is he a political prisoner? You know, because
oh my god, this dude is a piece of shit. Like, so he's endorsing someone who betrays his country on behalf of an intelligence agency of a hostile foreign empire. Now, Vonnie was backed up by the CIA, was requesting bribes from the MI6 to destabilize his country. He's a traitor. So if we had a revolution, let's say we had a revolution, Rome, Dr. Cornel West would endorse the CIA or someone infiltrating that revolution and overthrowing it. If someone tried to do what Navalny did, I would take him out too. That's what revolutionaries do. You don't allow motherfuckers to infiltrate and do the bidding of a foreign government. No one would allow that. So when you hear Dr. Cornel West say this, make no mistake, this is pro-CIA propaganda. Like, there's differences in political prisoners. There's differences in the realities. You have people who are betraying their country in order to side with the CIA in the United States. That is who Navalny is. He's still calling them political prisoners. He forgot. He learned nothing during this.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If we had a revolution and we had a motherfucker like that, he wouldn't even make it to prison. He wouldn't even make it to prison. I'll do it like how the USSR did. If you see Hitler, take the shot. You know. And that goes for every other fucking Nazi. I'm not as nice as Putin or Russia or the Russians. They wouldn't even see prison, nigga. And then what's going to be his stance on that? Oh, y'all taking it too far. It's too much blood. No. It's not enough. Come on, now.
And my dear brother, El Jamil in the United States and many other political prisoners in the U.S. empire. That's just the way I wrote. And I don't spend a lot of time on it. People say, oh, you must be down and out. No. I just spent the day with some of the most precious and priceless human beings, raising their voices, talking about Gaza, talking about genocide within the context of the Black church. And I'm going to do the same thing 3 times a day for the next week again. That's what this moment in the movement, this campaign is all about.
You guys think I'm gonna let people who forget who voted for this genocidal maniac?
Yep.
They said Anthony Blinken was his foreign policy advisor, sir, and you still voted for him. You guys gave power to the person that's led to a genocide. But let's continue.
Hold on, Nick. Remember what they always say. I didn't vote for Biden for this or that. I voted for trans rights. I voted to save democracy. So that blood isn't on my hands. You know what I'm saying? When he first got into office and on his first day he bombed Syria, those people blood isn't on my hands because I voted for trans rights. They always try to, you know what I'm saying, not just throw accountability away, always, or trying to act like they didn't even vote for this man in the first fucking place. You know.
Sorry, Ron, but I talked to these communists in Brazil. Like, that's why I met Josana at. You know what I mean? And ever since Twitter, like I talking to people who live in China, like in these spaces I used to do all the time. You guys know they don't have these excuses that we come up with in the United States. They find it unbelievably reprehensible that anyone would vote for someone like Joe Biden. You know what I mean? Like if you ask communists in Southeast Asia, when you ask socialists in the global South, The idea of vote. That's why they don't think there's a left in the United States. They laugh at the idea of left in the United States. They see Bernie Sanders endorsing Biden. They see the left voting for war criminals. And that's like unbelievable. Hell no, that's not a left. Meanwhile, you vote for the guy who not only completely destabilized the Middle East, but then led the next genocide, one of the most brutal military campaigns that we ever seen. Do you guys think that people outside the empire were like, he had no choice, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, he had no, they view that with contempt, fam. And I know that I talk to these people. I interact with these people. In the West, these PMC liberals, they disassociate themselves from their vote. Like, I had no choice. You know what I mean? I just engaged. No, you are selling out the global working class. And that is literally what you did, Dr. West. You voted for the guy who slaughtered tens of thousands of Palestinians, who's fighting against the ICJ on their genocidal rulings. And you think you're just doing some virtual sailing bullshit that's enough to wash that away?
And there's no way he's not educated on these things that's going on in the world, from the war in Iraq, Iran, all the things that we have done. There's no way you are not educated on these things. And then you say, oh, I want to take down the U.S. empire. I want to take down NATO. But then you say some NATO talking points to us. Who else is against Russia besides fucking NATO? The CIA. You calling Putin a thug when he don't even have as much blood in his hands than your president, the man that you voted for. He has more. And if we just want to keep it on race or keep it on black, you know how Tim Black want to do. He don't want to talk about foreign policy because he's a fucking idiot.
He couldn't.
He can't because he's a fucking idiot. Okay, well, let's keep it like this. Nigga, Joe Biden got more black blood on his hands than fucking Putin, nigga.
Word.
Russia is in talks and in works with Africa, with all countries throughout Africa. So there is no excuse. You are so smart that you are that dumb.
Yeah, that's why I say he's weak on white supremacy. He said we on the Jimmy Dore plantation, but he voted for one of the most anti-black politicians in our lifetime. He's supporting Albani, who's a vowed white supremacist who called Muslims cockroaches and wanted to dismantle them. He called them brother, but you would never hear him say brother Putin, brother Xi Jinping. You know what I mean? It's class loyalty, man. Like there's certain, like he showed more venom towards RBN than he shows of white supremacists. Isn't that crazy? Let's continue.
Crazy. This is almost over.
Let's go.
Brother
Let's
P.
go. We got Shabby in this motherfucker. Let's go.
I have a feeling she's about to come.
Let's finish the clip. Get Stabby some time to get ready. We can finish the clip and then we get Stabby in here.
Okay, yeah. It's almost done.
Sister Jill and all these other folk. What's some of the names? Nick and CJ, whatever it is. Because I don't even read that stuff. I gave up reading that stuff a long time ago. I just hear about it.
You motherfucker didn't follow me today. You just follow me. Yes, you do. That's why you know this shit. That's why you upset. That's some fake ass shit. I don't have to read it. I'm upset with him.
He is so mad. He is so mad.